So you've had a warning light come up on your car. You're going to need to get a code reader. But with so many choices on the market, you're not sure which one to get. Well, luckily for you, I've been sent a few. So let's give them all a try and see which one's the best. So I've been sent the King Bolin eDiag Mini, the Topdon Top Scan, and the Autofix. Now, admittedly, none of these manufacturers knew that I was going to be comparing them. They all just said, would you like a code reader? And I said, heck, why not? So the first one I got sent was the eDiag Mini from King Bolin. So let's have a look inside. And we've got this little code reader here. Now that plugs in under the steering wheel down here. We're going to need the car on for it to do anything. Doesn't have to be running, but I'd like to get the heated seats on because it's pretty cold today. And we can get some blowers on to warm me up because it is cold. So you're going to need an app on your phone for this. Now, for the purposes of this video, I have accelerated the process by pre-downloading the apps and creating the relevant accounts. It took a few minutes for the eDiag and for the Topdon. Just took a few minutes to just create a user account. So let's have a look. eDiag. This is the screen that we're faced with. So let's see, are we connected? Scanning, Bluetooth connection, it's looking for it, okay. We're just waiting for it to load. Initialization failed, retry. Well, this is a really good start. For someone that knows nothing about cars, they'd probably get to this point and go, what the heck is going on? I'm just gonna poke my nose under here. Yeah. The device itself is flashing. The lights are on, but nobody's home, as they say. So this is a really good start so far, isn't it? You'd like to think you should just be able to plug a code reader in and away it goes. Since the software has been completely upgraded, you need to re-download diagnostic software when you use the diagnostic function. Chinglish for you. Well, let's see if we can select Audi from this list. Can we? Is Audi on here? Audi. We're a few minutes in and we're none the wiser as to why we've got a code on the dash. System scan. System scan. Let's see if this works. Please input VIN. I've never had to do this on any other code reader. Why would I have to tell it the VIN number? Right, okay, bear with me. The VIN number, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are not aware, is usually on a chassis plate somewhere, and it's often in the windscreen, so you can get the information from there, but you really shouldn't have to. So I've had to tell it the chassis number so far. It's a weird one. We're now scanning control modules. Now I think I would have had the option on the other screen to just select a certain module if that's what I wanted to do, but I wanted to just see how this runs its automatic scan. So we'll fast forward through this, we'll time it, and we'll get a measure of that to compare to the other two systems as to how quick it does a full system scan. Oh, ooh, it is really cold today. Are you bored yet? Okay, well, it's just done everything, and the only option I've got is return. So do you want to exit? No, I don't want to exit the scan. Where's my... I've got no results. Do I want to exit that? Well, that was bloody pointless. That was a waste of 3 minutes. Let's try CAN gateway scanning. You confirm CAN gateway scanning is not applicable to this car. What I'm going to do is put a fault on by unplugging the MAF sensor, and hopefully it's got something to find. So we've got a fault on the dash. That's because the traction control uses the MAF sensor. So there you go. We've got a fault. System selection. Let's try it this way, shall we? Engine control module. Communication error with vehicle ECU. So far, we're what, 15 minutes in, and this hasn't been able to communicate. Right, I'm going to give the eDiag Mini a big fat loss on that one. doesn't work. Right, should we try the top-down top scan? Okay, let's load up the Top Guru program for the top-down top scan. So, I'm just guessing, because that's what you'd be doing if you were buying this and you're not really that familiar with cars. You'd just be clicking the buttons and seeing what happens. So let's go auto VIN. Confirm. Got it, okay. We're telling it. Now, I happen to know the engine code for this one, so I can confirm it. So, auto scan is what I was trying to do the equivalent of before. So let's just go auto scan, and it should just check all of the modules in the vehicle. Okay, so it's scanned and it's decided that these are the modules that it can do. So let's auto scan. This is going a lot quicker than the other one. Maybe because this is actually communicating and actually finding stuff. But it's already found 2 faults in the engine control module. It's trying to read the transmission control module, but this is a manual, so it's going to struggle on that. Yep, does not exist. That's fine. It's realised that. And it's quickly finding faults with other things. Well, this is good. It's speeding through it now. I think what was happening with the King Bolan one was that it was just, it couldn't connect with any modules. That's why it took so long, because obviously it would try a few times to communicate. Now it's struggling trying to read my navigation. I don't have inbuilt navigation on this. Okay, so it's done all of them. So I'm guessing that now I can just show all. And that's showing me everything with faults. I can see the report. Create a report. So if I wanted to save this, so customer Bryn. Okay, confirm. So it's going to save that. Wicked. So if you wanted to come back to it later, you can do. But let's see. So as we scroll down here, mass air volume flow sensor A circuit lower limit not reached, no signal communications. There you go, you got your P0100. So some fault readers will only give you the P0100. They won't give you this 02 and the rest of it, which is the more specifics to do with that fault code. Interesting. Brakes, steering angle sensor, voltage supply terminal 30. Now on Volkswagen Audi Group cars, voltage supply terminal 30 is a very common fault that comes up across lots of modules. It's just to do with low voltage when the module first powers up, from what I can tell. And this has also got an engine control module fault onto the brakes, which is what I said earlier about, because the MAF is unplugged, it relies on that sensor to control the ABS, so that's why it's showing a fault for that. So if I was to clear the fault from the engine management side, it would also clear it from the brakes. No horn signal for the central electronics. Again, in the wheel damping electronics, brake control module. So for wheel damping electronics, it's saying that there's a problem with the brakes module, which is saying there's a problem with the engine control modules. That one fault is being mirrored across multiple modules. And that's it. So that is my report. So I can go back out of there and I could, I can clear the fault codes. What I can now do, which is what I really like doing, is I can read the codes, for example, and I can see them in here. I could clear them from here, but I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is read data stream. Okay, so this is interesting, and this is something that if you, for example, on the Mark 1 TT, with the V6, you're going to want to check the chain readings, and you can check the groups. So in here, we can check the channel numbers, and we need to know what channel we want. So I want channel 93, I believe. I'm still getting used to the specifics of this car. How do I enter? Oh, okay, right. Let's do it this way, shall we? Instead of picking which channel, you can just scroll through them all. So I can scroll all the way down here to, so for example, channel 90, here we go, channel 93. So on channel 93, we get to see that this is telling me how worn the timing chain at the end of these cams is. Okay, so this is telling me that I'm at -2 degrees, which is okay. -3, -4 is the wear limit. Obviously 0 would be perfect. -2, I'll take that. But inside here, we can see plenty of useful information. So, before I got carried away, we could read fault codes and we could read live data from whichever module we wanted to. I could have gone into ABS and I could have seen the wheel speeds and things like that. So that works. Let's move on to AutoFix. So inside here we have got a tablet and the dongle itself. So let's turn this on. Now obviously, because this isn't on my phone, this is on its own tablet, I'll record with my phone to try and show you what's going on. Diagnostics. It's already found the VIN. You can tell it's an Audi. We'll do that later. Okay, so we can tell it's that one there, and we need a CDLB. Yes, that's correct. This all seems nice and easy so far. So, diagnosis, auto scan. We need to do this to compare the speed of this. That is, that's definitely quicker than the Topdon. Blasting its way through that. So, I'm guessing if we... Ooh, okay. So, escape out of there a second. Does it show us the faults, or do we have to scroll down past there? No, how do we see the faults? Report. It's going to show us... Here we go. Right. So, again, it's given us that same detailed information here, that's key. And it's the same faults and information here. And the same... Oh, we've got a bulb for high mount brake light, open circuit, short circuit to B+. That's probably why I keep getting a fault code, well, a fault thing pop up on the dash for the rear brake light. So I kind of know about that, but yeah. Driver windshield wiper, no signal communication. Okay. Passive sporadic. So these are faults that come and go. This is a little bit harder to read than the other list, but that's all right. That's all right. So I'm guessing up here we could choose to save. Yeah, save it as a PDF if we wanted to. So. And we can come back out of there. So we could escape from there, can we? Yeah, so engine control module. So we could go into there and we can see we've got the same sort of stuff. So live data. Read data by channel. Ah, here we go. What was it? 093. Okay. Yeah, same reading as we had before. Useful. So again, I could put this on a graph and I could see if I change the revs, does that phase change? And it doesn't. And actually, the data rate of that is really good. That's really useful. So what you can do, you can record that. So how do we view that though? Review. And we could, oh, look at that. We could go back through the log. That is really nice. That's a really good feature on this tablet. Now I actually want to do some testing for boost and boost request and then fueling and things like that on this car. So that's going to come in really handy. Sorry, chucked the phone down there. So that's really good. So we can see everything we need to see. That is really good. Can we do the same as that graphing on the Top Don, do we reckon? Let's see. So clearing the fault codes would have been easy on both of those. I just didn't want to have to go and plug them back in and then unplug it again to get the same fault. I want a consistency across the testing. What I want to see now, so we should be able to cancel things like airbag lights, not a problem, and yeah, things like that. User interface isn't quite as nice on this, despite it being on your phone. Like I say, I wasn't able to just easily select channel 93, but let's say I want to graph this. Where are we at? 93, so engine speed, graph, and phase position, graph. Can I so I can see both at the same time as each other, but not overlaid on the same graph. The data points are definitely further apart on this than they were on the AutoFix. You can see it seems to be sort of a data point every second. Can we get that to look any smoother? No, I mean that looks, what does this do? Will this, can I, no, I don't seem to be able to expand this. Okay, so I can, yes, I can record, and that is still useful, but that's really not as many data points as I would like for useful data logging, but it can do it. So yeah, I would I'd say that's all right. So on this channel I always give an honest review. The King Bolin, this eDiag, that's fit for the bin. The Top Don Top Scan, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. Now the only thing that lets this down for me is the sample rate on that live data. Okay, when you're trying to compare things like N75 duty cycle and things like that, you need more data points than just one every second. But for a lot of other things it would probably be okay, just to give you an indication as to what's going on. The code reading and things like that works perfectly fine. So for that reason, this is going to go in my glove box. So the AutoFix, that gets a 9 out of 10 from me. Very good score. The data sampling on it was really quick. The speed with which it read the codes was a lot quicker as well, because it was able to just ignore systems that the car didn't have. It didn't even try and read the automatic gearbox because it knows it doesn't have one. So that was a little bit nicer, a little bit quicker than on the Top Don, and the sampling rate on this is better than on the Top Don as well. So 10 out of 10 would go to things like a proper Otis tool or a Vagcom tool or things like that, you know, proper dealer level equipment. But this is really not far off, and I'd be very happy to keep hold of this, which I'm going to do. I was considering giving one of them away, but actually, like I say, Top Don's gone in the glove box for in case there's ever a fault code and I need to read it live, and this is going to stay in the garage ready to be pulled out anytime that I want to do live data reading. Speaking of live data reading, I'm going to go use this now and see how the health of this vehicle is doing, because I will be doing upgrades on this, power mods and things like that, so I want to check that it's at a good base health before I do that. If you're interested in seeing the journey of this car going from completely standard to stage 2 plus, then make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can keep up to date with all the modifications that are going to happen to this, and I will be taking this to the Nürburgring in a few months time to put it through its paces. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, thanks for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.